The Detroit Lions just got the perfect news on the offensive line. I am so excited to hear about this. Hey, if you are new to this channel, we're Lions fans. Are we biased? Maybe a little, but we try and keep it fair. We try and keep it real, and we try and give you kind of those little intricacies that you're not going to see on the big box channels. And we love talking about the nitty gritty, pun intended, with the word grit. Hey, you have got to check it out. Also, checking it out, I will put the link in this. We have merch now. Designed some merch. If you want to get your hands on some Sports Talk Detroit stuff or other fun stuff regarding the Lions, funny quotes, whatever it might be, head over to that store in the link and check it out. It should be connected right to this video. But anyways, here's what we wanted to talk about. The Detroit Lions just made a signing at tight end that helps their offensive line, but more importantly, another ranking came out, and this is where I just like seeing, like, you want to be a strength. When you have a strength, you want it to be better than anybody else's, and you want to hide your weaknesses. So when lists come out, like the PFF list that just came out, strongest and weakest position groups at each position, you don't want to find yourself in any of the weakest because that's really weak. It's hard to be number 32 of 32, even though I'd argue our corners were last year. But you also would love to have the strongest because it's really hard to be number 1 of 32 in the NFL. So let's take a look at the new addition. Let's take a look at the line and kind of go from there. We'll start with the line. We'll talk about truly the remarkable part of this. And I think what makes this so good is the $50 million man, Jared Goff. So you have Jared Goff sitting behind, oh, he's not mobile. Oh, he needs time to throw. Oh, he blah, 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 blah. I hear you. The Detroit Lions have the top offensive line in the NFL. All right, the Lions, here we go. Strongest offensive line in the NFL. The Detroit Lions. The Lions take the top spot, despite the Eagles having a stronghold on that ranking for years before Jason Kelce retired this offseason. By the way, PFF, we held the top spot last year in rankings, so don't even start with me about Jason Kelce retiring. That's not why we're the best offensive line. We're the best offensive line because we're the best offensive line. I'm going to prove it using PFF's own metrics. All right, center Frank Ragnow and right tackle Penei Sewell are the top, number 1, numero uno, all right, players at their respective positions, while Graham Glasgow and Taylor Decker are also top 10 at theirs. This is an extremely stout unit that boasts Kevin Zeitler, whose 71.6 PFF grade in 2023 ranked him 15th among guards. Everybody, take a look with me on this offensive line, please. All right? When we look at this offensive line, when we look at the actual players, when we look at the players that are going to be starting for us, let's start on the left side, Taylor Decker. All right? Or on the outsides. Taylor Decker, 9th, one of his best PFF seasons to date, and did it with some injuries. Remember, he went an off-season procedure just to clean some stuff up with his ankle. He said he's feeling much better. He's feeling healthier, and it thinks it will allow his body to feel good throughout the season and into the playoffs. Yes, playoffs. All right? Playoffs? Yeah, playoffs. All right. Number 1, Penei Sewell. That is the best PFF graded tackle combo in the NFL. Can it continue to be? We'll see. All right, we shall see. I think the Chargers are coming in hot for that position. But right now, it is absolutely the Detroit Lions for the taking. Let's move to the inside at the guards. You have another top 10 player, Graham Glasgow, and a top 15 player, Kevin Zeitler. Here's the way I look at PFF rankings. All right, and I'll just talk about this for a second. They're not perfect. They're not, but they're close to accurate. And basically what happens is when they watch film over at PFF, they try and determine what was that person's job during that play. Did they execute their job? If they did, they get a better grade than if they did not. I think it's on a 1 to 5 scale. You add all those up by the end of the game, and you get an average out of a PF grade on a 0 to 100 scale. All right? 0 means you just run the other way, I guess. I don't know. Never seen it. All right? So that's how you figure it out. If you are a top 32 at your position, That means that you are number one starter worthy. All right. Now, with most of these positions, guard and tackle, there's two of them, right? So, in other words, a top 64 grade merits starter caliber. Do you want them to be a little bit better than that? Yes. If both of your players are in top 32, that means both are number one starter capable. Think about it like a baseball team in a pitcher rotation. There's 5 pitchers, but you have your ace, but if you can add a second and a third pitcher to that starting rotation that are a top 30 pitcher, now all of a sudden you have a great advantage over other teams because they might not have that. It's the same when it comes to football and PFF. So both at the tackle, we have 2 top 10s, and at guard, we have an 8th and a 15th. So we have 2 number one starters. In other words, we have at each position. So 4 players that are worthy of being your top player at that position. And then we have Frank Ragnow, who last year came out and was quite simply the best center in the NFL. That is a phenomenal offensive line. But I also told you that I would talk about a guy that we signed in and a guy that I am familiar with. All right. The Detroit Lions, all right, have signed former Michigan tight end Sean McKeon. All right. And so McKeon, this is very interesting to me. He played at U of M, all right, and signed a contract with the Cowboys in 2020. He impressed enough to earn a spot on the active roster as the team's 4th tight end option, even starting one game during his rookie season. All right. Also, he was good enough that they decided to draft another Michigan tight end a year ago, all right, which was very interesting considering Ferguson was their number 1, but they like pass blocking tight ends over there. All right. He was mainly used. He played in 45 games with the Cowboys, including 3 starts, but was mainly used as a blocker and on special teams. Sound familiar to what we like? He saw 428 offensive snaps and 570 special team snaps. All right, here's what I love about it. Receiving above average grades as a blocker, 79.2 in pass blocking, and 81, and a 4-phase special teams contributor. All right, here's what we can see out of this guy. And when you put him into our tight end room, you're wondering like, all right, where's the spot for him? He immediately becomes, as you can see here, the best pass blocking tight end we have. Quite frankly, he's just a flat out good blocker, not just for tight end. The other guy that we've used in situations like this is Brock Wright. Brock Wright has been the pass blocking tight end. He is far superior to Brock Wright as a pass blocker and even as a run blocker. He is superior to everybody on this team as a run blocker. So here's my question for Fit. Does this allow us to, instead of keeping Dan Skipper as the swing tackle or the 6th guard or the 3rd tackle or whatever you want to call him when they bring him in on jumbo sets, does this allow us to bring in Sean McKeon on jumbo sets and have more flexibility when it comes to throwing the football because he's better at pass catching? He only has 33 for his career. I understand that. All right. Actually, I don't even know if it's that. I'm going to have to look deeper into the stats. So, but he's a much better pass catcher than Dan Skipper. All right. Reporting eligible. So anyways, just kind of a thought process of little things that just continue to improve this line. Would he maybe have a spot on the roster over like a James Mitchell, or who hasn't shown much of anything, or a Shane Zylstra who hasn't been able to stay really healthy? Maybe they value the blocking side of it more, and they want to keep him around and keep Zylstra on like the practice squad. Never know, because he can compete so well on special teams. Just thoughts. Like I said, we like to go deeper here. All right, thank you all for watching. See you on the next one.